tone. Comments and vibes is how they feel. What they share, that's their own deal. The words are personal, no need to stress. Here we share thoughts, express, no suppress. It's zealous vibes will come through. We're all just sharing our point of view.
We are in some fucking trouble today, y'all. Not really, though. But welcome back. It's your boy DJ Willie Will and the Zealous Vibes. Today we got a special feature today. We got all the ladies up here and they're taking over Zealous Vibes today. And today we're talking about empowerment and diversity in society with black women in all areas: jobs, home,
mental health.
We're going to break it down. I'm going to get out of here. Before I get out of here, let's go ahead and let the panel introduce themselves. Starting to my right over here, who we got?
I'm just Kimberly. That's all.
Miss Kimberly, what's up?
And I'm the real Cherie on IG with a C. The real Cherie on IG with a C.
I'm Taz, no other KT.
I'm Joe.
What up?
And I'm Lala.
All right, and it's yours truly, DJ Willie Will. I'm about to get out of here. If y'all want to come up and y'all got a question for him, come up to the mic over here and go ahead and give them your questions at any point. But just don't interrupt them while they talk.
Welcome, ladies. I appreciate y'all coming and being here, a part of us. As we all know, we do all kind of struggle in some type of category, a topic. We might be different in so many ways, but we all truly believe that we kind of struggle in the same type of dynamics around the world. So I just do want to start off with some things that you possibly could struggle today, or what you feel like that you might need to accomplish, or feel like that you want to change within yourself.
Okay. What's up? What's the first? What we talking about?
Yeah, well, sure.
What we got?
I could say one thing. In my perspective, I do work in healthcare. Everybody knows I work in healthcare. Specifically, straightly women, OBGYN. So I kind of see that there's a lot of struggles within black women being treated for in hospitals, or just being treated for with delivery itself. Especially us African-American black women, they feel like that we're so obnoxious, we're uptight, or we don't know what we're talking about. And I can just speak on a variety of things that I've heard from other women that's in my skin color, on the reason why a lot of women always ask for a black doctor. Specifically, a lot of the times we go through health concerns such as maybe fibroids or ovarian cysts or some things of that nature. We'll go out to these top doctors that we feel like they're top doctors to kind of help our concerns, but the first thing that we're thrown out is medication. That's the first thing. We go to the ER. Okay, take this prescription. You might feel better. Follow up with your doctor. Follow up with your primary care physician. You go around, you get the runarounds, and then maybe 5 years later, you finally meet the right doctor, and now you're diagnosed with maybe cervical cancer or some type of big fibroid you could have been got out a long time ago, but you bled for so long, or you bled, or let's just think about labor itself. They always look at us, we're always the high risk factors when it comes to delivering, but people don't never see us as our own culture, like our own DNA, because our blood is different from being Caucasian, white, Hispanic. Like we do have to watch out for certain things that we do, encounter.
And then, speaking to that point, but another difference is in the black community, culturally, black people or black women, we suffer from socioeconomic issues that factor into our healthcare or lack thereof. And a lot of time we're underrepresented in the healthcare field. And so when you're searching for a black doctor, it's harder to find. Maybe they're not even accepting patients at that time because they're overbooked or overwhelmed, because the reason we have to search for black doctors is because we feel like we don't get that care necessarily at another physician or with another physician that's not culturally sound or culturally in tune to who we are as black women. Exactly. And so it plays a important factor, because think about it. when you're going through labor and delivery, I've heard and read cases like this all the time. You're going through labor and delivery, and if you go in there and you're pregnant, 9 months or whatnot, maybe you went before, but you want to have a doula, right? But you've been taking care of yourself, and nothing's wrong with your baby. You can have a healthy pregnancy at home. Doctors who are not culturally in tune with your culture, they're against that. I had a girlfriend, and she said that she wanted to have an at-home birth. And when she went to her physician to tell them that, and it wasn't a black doctor, he was against it. They went so far to tell her, we will have to get CPS involved if you do this. And she insisted, but she had to advocate for herself. She did have a healthy baby at home. She has 3 girls, beautiful girls, that she had all at home with a doula. And so a lot of times Black women are put in these positions in the healthcare field or when you're seeking care to have to advocate for yourself. It's an unfortunate boundary that we have to face, but we're facing it every single day.
And I can speak on that firsthand. I recently had a baby 7 months ago, and I had a scheduled C-section. Even though it was scheduled because I was high risk, I still waited 15 hours after my scheduled time with a Black OBGYN. And so sometimes you have people who are in your corner fighting for you in the medical field, but there's so much against us and so many other people who can say no. We're saying no because it's more of us than y'all, even though you have somebody advocating for you, as my doctor did. And I have a couple of situations where in the healthcare specifically, I've had to advocate for myself or have someone strong or my doctor who, at this point now, my doctors are all Black everything. Dentist, OBGYN, primary, all of our doctors are Black with my family because I've had so many experiences where I wasn't listened to and I just, like you said, given a prescription. Or I wasn't listened to and they said, well, maybe you just need to lose some weight. Baby, these...
We obese.
First of all, this is regular. Ain't nothing wrong.
No, we be out here sick.
So, and that's a problem we have a lot because everything to them is in our head. It can't be that you're really in that much pain. Right. It can't be that you're really going through this thing because they just don't know from our experience and they just sometimes don't believe us. And so that second situation that I said I had, when I first moved here, I'm not from here, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. And I moved here about 9 years ago. Now, my history before that, all my lady doctors have been white men, just because they are the majority in that field. And I hadn't had any problems before I moved here, but I had one doctor when I moved here. He insisted on it. Now, ladies, we know we go once a year and have our annual done, and sometimes, as we all should, we get that full panel of STD tests. Well, this doctor, for every single visit, he ran the STD test, even times where I told him, so I'm not even sexually active. Why are we running these tests?
It's money.
But because of how he viewed Black women and his stereotypes, it's something, let me test just in case. And he would say, well, you never know, just in case. Sir, I don't need these. So having to advocate for yourself, having the right doctors in your corner, and just having to say, no, you can't do this. No, you can't run this test. No, I'm not going to allow you to do this. No, you can't run this. You have to be able to say those things and stand up for yourself, specifically in the healthcare field.
Anything?
Okay. Well, I go. My turn. So the key word, because I'm in healthcare too, you got to understand medicine. When they say you practice medicine, that's literal. So when a doctor is telling you to take a medicine, and he's like, okay, I'll see you back in 3 or 6 months. He's seeing you back to see if it works. Right. And if it doesn't work, he's going to try something else, or she, or whoever. So you have to advocate for yourself. You have to do your own research. You have to read up on the medications you're taking and the side effects and see, okay, if I'm taking a medicine for anxiety and the side effect is to make me anxious, do I want to take this medicine when it's going to cause a side effect of what I'm trying to treat? And when you say ER, that's a hot topic for me.
Hello. Because
people treat ER as if that's their primary care. ER is not set up that way. ER is meant to treat the symptoms. It's not meant to treat the core problem. It's a Band-Aid on top of an issue, and you have to build a health care team around you that's going to support you. Black, white. My OBG is a small, short, white lady. I've been seeing her since I was 20-something years old. And she advocates for me every step of the way. But that is a relationship that I have built. She knows me. She knows me pre-marriage, when I was pre-married. And she knows me now. So she can speak on my history. She can speak on what's normal for me. But I can also tell her what's normal for me because I know my body. So I also think as a community, we have to be more proactive in learning what works for us and what does not. Stop basing your healthcare off what you Google. Stop saying, well, my family always had high blood pressure, so I'm going to have high blood pressure.
Yes.
That's not.
Yes.
Stop accepting that generational curse. You have high blood pressure because of habits that's been passed down to you. That's not something that you have to accept. So that's how I feel about that.
I would say the big thing is with the word advocate. Like sometimes that word advocate can be seen as you too defensive or you combative or they take it as in a black woman is, not the type of person that you could like reconcile with your own health. And there has been situations to where I've like been misdiagnosed or I've had doctors who now we got ChatGPT, we got all this other stuff. They ain't really earned a degree for real. They really don't know their field for real. And then they guess what's wrong with you. And then when you in ICU or you dealing with other health issues, they like, oh, when it really could have been caught, like somebody said at the beginning stages. So I feel like now it's important to do that self-research, but just make sure that it's accredited and knowing how to research. But like advocating for yourself as a black woman is just always can be read a different way. Which is a main problem that we have.
And one thing in healthcare, a lot of the tests that they've run and a lot of the standards that they set are not based on us. It's based on doing things for non-black people. Yeah. So we always, and what I always look at is what they consider overweight and obese, because most people of non-color they have a different body makeup. They have different things going on that in our community is a little different. So I always feel like, one, you have to take some of the stuff you hear, you can't take it as fact and that be the end of it and go with it. You have to, like Joe said, do your research and you have to look into things and not accept just what they're saying as final and that's the only.
So my question to y'all is, what makes you think that people don't take black women seriously? Like, why are we always the bottom line of the chain? Because if you think about it, you have the Caucasians who, feel like they ruled the world, especially when it came back to slavery, or you have the men, and then even black men, I know that they get kind of the short end of the stick as well, but women are still degraded at the bottom. Why do we think so? Like, what is something that we could kind of change or, get a perspective on?
Everybody,
Listen, we're going to be here all day. That's deep. No, it really is. It's deep. It's so broad because I feel like it's so many answers to that question. It has so many layers to it, especially in our own community. We can talk a lot about what other people do to black women outside of our community, but a lot of times, we do a lot of things to each other within our community. I think that that too, add that in the pot, that's a problem too, right? We don't support each other enough. We don't uplift each other enough. We don't encourage each other enough. Sometimes I say this all the time. As black people, we don't need other black people to put us down. We have the rest of the world to do that. Why are we oftentimes so against each other? Why not pull your sister to the side and have a conversation with her if you have something to lay on her heart, or if God laid something on your heart for her, or you want to share something, or maybe I stepped on your toe and I didn't know I stepped on your toe and you still mad at me because I stepped on your toe. And so I'm wondering, I feel your energy, sis, but I don't know where it's coming from. It's real easy to just pull me to the side and say, hey, Cherie, you stepped on my toe earlier. I don't know if it was intentional or not. And then I'm in a position to say, you know what, sis? I apologize. I didn't know I stepped on your toe. Sometimes we allow the small things to turn into these real big things, and now you have a bigger problem. So you're walking around with an attitude with me, and now I'm matching that energy. I don't believe in that, but yeah, you know what I mean? But 9 times out of 10, you treat people how they treat you, right? Yeah. So you rolling your eyes, and you don't like me, and I don't know why, and now I'm just like, okay, so I'm cool on her, right? Mm-hmm. When it's real easy, it's real fixable. A lot of things in our community starts with conversation and communication, which is what we're doing on this show.
Okay. I want to speak on that topic. Oh, okay. When you stated about the Black community not supporting each other, I think that started during slavery when you had the house Negro.
No, the house nigga
and the ones in the field. Yeah. Because even with me, I have been it's been stated that, your daughter has a lot of non-melanated friends. And it's not that I go out and look for non-melanated people. My daughter migrates towards who she migrates towards. But my whole family is melanated. Just because she has a few non-melanated friends does not think we're white. It kills me that the community think in order for me to be, woke or down to earth, all of my friends should look like me. But you put yourself in a square when you do that. You have to get used to being uncomfortable. As I grow and I get promoted, I walk into a room realizing that, a lot of them not going to look like me. And I'm fine with that.
Hello.
But I have to understand, I got to know what I know. And I have to learn how to communicate in a way that they will understand. And how I talk to my husband, to my friends, is completely different than how I talk at work. Because they're not my friends. And I use communicating as a way to put a barrier. When I'm talking in my work voice, that's my shield. That's my weapon.
That's your mask.
Right. Because I want to make sure you understand that you're here. And I do not allow you in that personal space for a reason because I can't trust you. So the community, the Black community always not always, some people will try to look down on you as you grow and as you continue to work your way up towards your goals, and that's fine. God put some people in your life for a season, that's A-okay, but we have to learn to be okay with being uncomfortable.
I think there's a thin line between, sometimes, people look up to people and then they envy. And they envy in the most negative way, because I have been in situations and I've been on teams to where, I had women and I was looking for support, and I, had that extra leadership, and they had a secret agenda against me, and then I had to, fight that. I thought you was my sister. I thought that you was somebody who had my back. And then they get so close to you, and then they feed into other women, and they talk about you, and it be to a point to where it diminished your feel for other people. You're you know what? I'm a be in my own little bubble. Yeah. I'm going to do stuff on my own. That's why people look for sisterhood. They look for organizations. And then when they get into these organizations and they get into this sisterhood, it's not what they imagined.
They expected, yeah.
It's not what they expected. And it was the main purpose of why it was founded and things like that. And speaking for somebody who is in sorority and stuff like that, people don't get what they originally came in to earn. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's a big problem in the community, knowing the difference between, I look up to you versus I want what she got. And now I'm finna make sure that I knock her name down to get what she has. So it's I think that's a big thing too with Black women specifically. And it's all because they don't really know how to carry, can you help me? Can you show me how to get to where you are, versus feeling copying them, So I think that that's a big problem. And that's one of the things that knocks us lower, is because now we're at each other, or now we secretly have all these agendas versus coming from a pure place and a pure understanding that, you know what, let me help you out,
And I know y'all were mentioning between us Black women, there are a lot of things we can do to strengthen our communication, our bond with each other. But I also feel like a lot of things in society, some of them are historical, like you mentioned, slavery, have conditioned people to see women as the bottom of the totem pole, whatever. And then on top of that, because we're in America, and America is such a racist place, then black people are also looked down. So to be a black woman, you got the double negative in some people's eyes. So society has conditioned people that, we all know the stereotypes that some people believe about black people. They're lazy, they're, violent, they're all these things. But what they don't look at is the history of this country. Our country has been violent, and who has incited the majority of that violence? Not black people. Who killed all these indigenous people when they came to this country? Not black people.
Right.
Who enslaved black people, killed, beat, hung, sold people of color? Not black people. So people don't always want to reflect on the history that caused a lot of things and a lot of mindsets that are in place now. And yes, we do have a lot of work to do in the black community. We have a lot to do between black women, between black men and black women, because I believe that, especially even now in society, there are some things that are pitting black men against black women, and you see it all over social media. And so I think those go back to slavery mindset too. But there's so many things historically that show this country has put things in place and shown things so often that it's ingrained in some people's full being to see us as something that we're not, even though if you look at your ancestry, and sometimes not even 2 or 3 generations back, if you're a Caucasian person, that all that violence and all that other stuff came from your people. Them, not us.
And see, I think that's a big, huge problem, what you just said about us being so used to slavery or what we used to in the back of the days. I feel like we put ourselves in a box where we don't want to self-develop, have self-growth. And so we rather tear each other down to stay at the bottom instead of helping each other up, get ourselves up to a level so we can empower or be above other people. We're so used to being confident in ourselves or not confident in ourselves. We're so used to tearing each other down. But I feel like there is a handful of women who are willing to be at the top of the chain, or who's willing to break the barriers, because I feel like a part of a lot of the stuff that we deal with is mentally, like we're all dealing with a mental struggle, like a mental warfare, where we don't know how to reach out to that. Like, I'm sure we have a few amount of things that we don't like to speak out to because they'll look at us crazy, like, oh, we're just crazy or delusional. Because not only did I work in OBGYN, but I work in mental health as well. And I feel like a lot of the times they don't take us serious when it comes to our mental health. Like, I'm sure there's times where y'all develop mental where you feel like you can't go to another male or go to your family members and speak about past trauma to help yourself out. Like what's real,
Yeah. I oftentimes sit in business mixers. It's almost kind of like how they mix with singles, but it's like a business mixer. And we talk about those types of things. And I have this slogan. I was like, whoever said there's one spot at the top. Right. Why we all can't have a different business and make it. And now we're like supporting each other and we're building our own kingdom. And then boom, here we go. There's not one spot at the top.
Right. That was my, I was, hearing everybody out, but I wanted to know, how can we, we got a question. Okay. Yeah, but solutions. What we talk a lot about the problem. What are the solutions? Right. We'll table that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to say something.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to table solutions.
We'll take some questions. We'll take some questions. Or a suggestion.
All right. I have a real quick question for y'all. Some of the things that y'all been saying, I've been listening to. And one of my questions is, how do y'all feel about interracial dating if y'all feel like your partner don't understand anything about you?
I personally don't have a problem with interracial dating. I feel like people can love who they want to love, but I feel like if you love that person, love that person. I've heard a lot of, and I'm just going to use this example. I've heard a lot of black men say, well, I date white women because black women get attitude.
Shannon Sharp.
We didn't ask
Shannon
you why
Sharp.
you date. Why did you? I'm not asking you why. You know what I mean? So if you want to be with somebody, be with that person because that's the person you want to be with. Y'all have a bond. Y'all have, y'all have things in common. But you're dating her because you don't like how black women do, or the black women that you've come across
has been away.
You're not dating that person for the right reason.
And then to toggle down on your question, I feel like really it's what's the word? But something where we're so used to being back in the day, we're so used to being connected to our own community that if we bring home another person that doesn't look like us, grandma or your Uncle Ben back there talking shit like, oh, who is this white woman or who is this? But the thing is, we're so caught up in this interracial dating thing that people don't realize that maybe that's something that they look within themselves, like they see something within themselves. I personally don't have any problem with interracial dating. I just feel like I have my own perspective or my own, characteristics on I like to build my black men up to make them feel like that you're wanted. Because a lot of the times black men feel like they're not wanted, but hey, if you want to go out there, go do it. It's on you.
I piggyback on that. I believe you can date who you want to date, love who you want to love. That's your business. I don't have a heaven or hell to put anybody in, so it's not I don't like to pass judgment. I don't on people. I think it's ridiculous to judge someone on who they're with or who they're married to or dating. That's your choice. We all have it. However, that does not negate my point of I support black love 100%. I believe in black love. I love black love. I love to see it. I love to embrace it. I love to give it. And sometimes when you can just see a black couple and you can see the love on them, you can see it. It's something that takes up space in a room. You can feel it. You can look at it online, I think that that's a cultural thing. It gives them more depth. And it's something you can't teach a person that doesn't come from where you come from. These are just facts. You literally have to educate them on why certain things exist in a black community, whereas with a black man or a black woman, those things are left unsaid. We just get each other on that level. So that's just the difference, but date who you want to date.
I think she said white love is shallow. Because she said black love is...
Introduce yourself.
It's your boy Deep. Nah. My question goes towards the youth. I've heard what y'all was talking about, healthcare, especially in black women. So my question deals with parents, and not also parents, but ladies who have maybe younger siblings. Do y'all educate your daughters or your younger siblings on healthcare, on how to take care of yourself? Is that a thing that's happening in the black community with the females?
But it's,
also, let me one more and I'm gonna walk away. The S one. I just want to get it out there that y'all can answer. This is a part two question. The other one, because y'all was talking about interracial dating, that's the other part of that question. Also, do y'all have those conversations with the younger generations about that? And y'all got it. That's my question.
I'm about to say we might up here as a panel because we understand, but I can tell you a lot of the times we are not educating our children on healthcare as we should. And it takes one to know one. So if you know exactly what you're dealing with, or if you put yourself out there when it comes to healthcare, then you're an advocate of it. But back in the day, and it still happens, you have great aunts, great uncles, grandparents. They'll sit there and die and struggle before they go to a hospital or go see a doctor for something, because they feel like it's pointless. But that goes from the Tuskegee area. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're trying to say.
But yeah.
The beauty to me being a teacher, and I teach theater, so I kind of have this flexibility of teaching like a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. People assume that these kids know stuff, and I taught middle school and high school. They don't know nothing. Like, I did a lesson, it was financial literacy month, and so I was like telling them, all right, this is your paycheck. Now you got this bill, that bill, and they're like, oh my God, I can't have this car. I can't. Reality start clicking. Yeah. They don't have like common sense. Like, and I'm not even being funny. Like, they really don't. They was so appreciative of that week that we took. We're learning how to like break stuff down. And I think that's the biggest misconception. Like, we like, oh, you got everything at your fingertips, but they don't know how to use it. They really don't know how to use it. It's literally for their enjoyment because they still in this COVID mindset. They don't really like look for it because they're like, hey, can you tell me how much this is? I said, you got to calculate on your phone. You right. Mm-hmm. And you would think that's common.
Use your resources.
It's not. It's not common. Yeah. And so I think that's the biggest thing. It's like taking that time to really tell them what it is, and then they don't have that time with their parents because they're working parents.
Hello.
And they automatically assume when they get to school, like they gonna learn it or they gonna get it from their peers. But if y'all get into the education system and y'all see how stuff works now, they're taking a lot, and now they're only teaching kids what they're testing for. Mm-hmm. They are not worried about anything. So I was like, y'all, I'm glad I teach theater. As soon as my AP left, I said, you know what? Let's go back to it. Let's get to, because I'm teaching them real life skills and stuff that's gonna really help them. And even on the days I'd be like, hey, we're gonna be doing this today because somebody asked me about it and I think they should know. Boom. And he's like, all right, bet. So it's like really not assuming that they know or they can research and look it up, but like really taking that time to just address it and mention it or say it. I think that's a big thing.
You know, that speaks to a bigger problem in our community, right? Because we're now relying on the school system and teachers to teach our children what they should really be learning at home. And if you look at it generationally, who taught you how to balance a checkbook? Your mama. Your grandmama. You know, you were taught these things. Who taught you about putting on a sanitary napkin? You know what I mean? If you know, who taught you how to bathe yourself from head to toe? Who taught you how to do those things? Front to back. How to wipe. You know, simple things like that. Who taught you those things? Generationally, I think that now you have so many younger parents, and they are those lessons that your mom and your grandma taught you. When your grandma like 25 and 30, you're not getting those lessons because y'all listening to the same stuff. Y'all doing the same thing. She got the same interests as you. So generationally, I think those lessons that used to be taught at home, they're not. And it's putting so much pressure on the school system because if I'm teaching you about life skills when you really need to be learning about math, something else is getting lost in translation here. Or I got to teach you how to act or behave in a classroom or conduct yourself, what respect is, how to listen, accept the word no. They don't know that. Like generationally, I think those core values are just being lost.
Well, I think two things. I can agree to some extent with that, but I feel like, so there's only so much a parent can pass on to their kid if you didn't learn it, because
that's true.
We say, like you mentioned, you said something about grandma teaching you how to balance a checkbook.
Balance check, yeah.
My grandma never had a checking account. So if my grandma never had a checking account, she couldn't teach my mama how to be responsible with money. So then my mama went through life struggling and trying to figure things out on her own. The things she did learn, she did pass to us, but she didn't have an example, and she didn't have, my mom is 64 years old, so there were only so many resources back then that you could tap into. So then me being, a parent now I'm in the financial industry, so there's so much that I've learned. And a lot of what I've learned in the financial about finances has been through work, because there were so many things. My mama did not know about credit. My mama was terrible with finances, and she did the best she could, but she just didn't know because her mom didn't teach her because she didn't know, because she had an 8th grade education. So I do agree with you as, in the education field, and to your point, parents are responsible for making sure your kids are prepared for the world, but sometimes part of that, you can only teach what you know. And if you don't know it, and then your kid comes across a situation and they end up in something, then you can say, hey, I never, because me and my mama were having this conversation yesterday or day before yesterday. You've never experienced this. There are certain things my mom did not experience that I experience now. Yeah. And so she couldn't talk me through that situation because it's something she's never dealt with. Yeah. And so me navigating that on my own and seeing it now I can teach my sons because I don't have any daughters. Yeah. So certain things I don't have.
And I felt the same way.
Yeah. The situation, like I have had parents that come to me and be like, I honestly don't know what to do. And like, can you talk to them? Can you reach out to them? Because they doing this, they doing that, they not coming home. And I now have to become like and they'll listen to me because I switch it from a different angle. But it's like moments like that. But some parents are not realistic in saying that my kid needs help.
Yeah.
Or I don't have it together. They think they have it together. And so saying that like,
The
hey,
pride.
I didn't learn it, it's a pride thing. Saying that I didn't learn it, I don't have the resources, can y'all help me? Because they think CPS gonna step in. They think this gonna step in. And that's also another mentality that we have in the African American community. We think that when we receive assistance or help or mental health,
They're in our business.
assistance, that now everybody's about to get in my
But that could be a
business
trauma
and
response.
service. It's
They
a trauma
should have
response.
seen that happen.
Yep, they've
Because-
seen that happen.
And this could be another topic, but
Yeah.
there are a disproportional amount of CPS cases for
Yeah.
African American families.
Yes,
So that's
yeah.
a realistic fear.
That sure is.
So I just want to clarify. It's exceptions to every rule. It ain't no perfect parent because there ain't no perfect people, right?
Exactly.
However, we can't pass the responsibility of raising our children onto the school system. That adds a whole nother workload that doesn't work. That can't be a solution to our problem. And so what has to happen in our communities, we talk about resources. We talk about conversations. Talking to somebody, maybe it's somebody in your family, maybe it's a girlfriend, maybe it's another parent at your child's school. I don't know. But we can't just keep passing the buck with our kids and expecting somebody else to raise them and teach them the basics.
Right.
Right?
So just to follow up on that, because I was raised by a hood mama. Lord, she was hood. And she taught me how to survive because that's what she knows.
Yep. Survival of the fittest.
If my job, I get fired today, and my husband get fired, believe me that those bills gonna get paid, and we're gonna keep those cars because my mama taught me how to survive. That's what she knew.
Hustle.
But I took it upon myself to say, okay, so what's the next step outside of surviving? Okay, let me surround myself around people who know more than me.
Yeah.
So I can learn off of them. This is one of my best friends here. She taught me about finance. My daughter is 10 and had a credit card in her name for 5 years. She has credit already. It started when she was 5 years old. But that's something that my friend taught me. And not only that, I was open to learning it.
That's good.
I was not saying, oh, don't, girl, whatever you please tell me, I know.
And that's the problem with a lot of us black women. I mean, we're going to speak a little bit more, a little bit later, but before we go to break. But that's a lot of the problem now. It's like everybody have this pride thing. And I feel like that's why a lot of the kids do gravitate to teachers or people, their friends, their friends' parents, because a lot of the times they see that we don't know, like we don't see it, and you have kids who see other kids that say, well, how did you get this? Or I don't get this at the house. So they are gravitating to the teachers, or they might gravitate to a mentor. But that's why now in these school districts, they are trying to find a way for parents to help themselves in a household. Not only that, for children to help out or, get the help they need. Because sometimes some women don't even have mothers to even know how to be a woman or be the woman we supposed to be.
But spread your knowledge, though.
Yeah.
Like how you say you do it with your students. How many of your nieces and nephews have you reached out and been like, hey, we hanging out, let's do this? Do you know this? My nieces and nephews, they probably think that I am so old school. But believe me, they're going to know what I know. And they're going to be able to teach their kids what I know. And I don't just stop it at my daughter. Like, the whole family knows it.
So we're about to go on break. But when we come back, we're going to speak a little bit more on mental health and cultural diversity. And, audience, stay tuned. Listen to music. Go get some drinks at the bar. We'll be back.
Join the chat, don't miss the beat. Welcome to Zealous Vibes, let's ignite the spark. We're shining bright, illuminating the dark. With every word we speak, growing ever wise. Stay tuned, we're the voice that never lies. Stay zealous, stay keen, keep your mind alive. We're shining bright in the dark.
Zealous Vibes, ladies and gentlemen, where we leave nothing off the table. Conspiracy theories, logic, whatever we speaking about or we talking about, we just gonna leave it on the table. So we kind of got some solutions for y'all, or for us in general, and it can just go not just for women, also men. We also got a couple of questions that we want to ask to kind of improve ourselves, just to kind of get back on the spectrum, kind of get us lifted and empowered as a whole. So let's start off with a couple of things. I guess we can start with community building. What can we do in our community to kind of help us build ourselves up as Black women, or what can we do to help our community grow a little bit extra than what it is at this time?
I love that bullet point because that was my main thing, community building. I would say start out by like supporting businesses. I know that there was a time just recently I was on a plane and this lady, she couldn't sit right next to her son. It was this black lady, this other black lady. She was like, okay, here you go. She helped him open his snacks and everything. It's like that support. Instead of talking about each other, just like wherever somebody's like lagging, just kind of help and assist without making it a big grand gesture like, oh, I helped you, I helped her. Don't call it out if you don't mean it and you're genuine with it.
You're describing standing in the gap. I like that. I like standing in the gap because I feel like that is a solution, right? If I know you got a hole in your bag, well, sis, maybe I can fill in right here and I offer that support. I don't need no pat on the back. You ain't got to pay me. You don't owe me nothing. I'm just doing it out of the kindness of my heart. I think we need more of that, and that helps me, helping me helps you, and vice versa. You know, that's that old school approach. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Yeah.
I think that can also go into with our children. You know, our children are the future. We always hear that the children are the next generation. I believe. I left my voice at home. Yeah. But you know, seeing somebody, either one struggling with a kid, you know, step in and you can say, hey sis, you know, you need a little backup. I got you. Because what he say?
Right.
Okay. Or, you know, stepping in if you don't see an adult around and saying, hey, baby, where your mama?
Right.
Do you talk like that in front of your mama? You know, we don't, that's not a nice thing to say. And like you said, standing in a gap. If their mama's not there and you hear something out of line, correct it. You know what I mean? And now we know a lot of these, this generation is a little different. But I think, you know, as Black women, I think, one, there is a level of respect for a Black woman in some spaces, especially among our children. Because some of them respect their mothers, their grandmothers, and they have that in them no matter how smart they talk. When grandma say something, you know, they tighten up. So I think there's something there where kids will listen to us as Black women. And I think we can't be afraid to say stuff and step up and say things.
And I think a lot of the times too is we have a lack of encouragement, you know. Sometimes we feel down and we don't know who we can talk to, who we can go to. Sometimes we might not have a great day. Like we wake up sometimes on the wrong side of the bed, and that's okay. I've seen a couple of women that I walk past might have looked slouched or looked frustrated. And sometimes I get out of my own comfort zone to say, hey, I love what you know, or, you know, God bless you, you know, things are going to get better. You know, just acknowledgement, because a lot of the times we don't get acknowledged for what we do. We hold a lot on our backs. We carry everything on our backs. And I just feel like every time we are dealing with something, it's always, oh, she got baggage. Or, oh, she's just mad. She's just mad at the world. She's this angry Black woman. But I just feel like if all of us can come together, and not only just women, but men too, because sometimes our tongue is the most powerful thing and weapon of our life. And I feel like people forget that the tongue is the most powerful weapon in life itself. Just a little, hey, I love, you know, such and such this. Or can you help me with this? I mean, like, we got to keep our pride to the side and kind of help each other out. And then we can kind of grow our communities and grow our little ones to be the same way, because they look at our own behavior. So if we can match better attitudes, or we can check ourselves, or be okay to be corrected, have some self-criticism, hey, we'll be the best, you know, the strongest people in life.
Right. So I see we have a question from the audience, but before we get there, I just want to say, for me, I feel like opening yourself to be led by the Holy Spirit, it will bring you to fill in those gaps. Praying every morning, God, help me to help someone else. Help me to be that shoulder to lean on. Help me to be that extra, whatever it needs to be. And you will naturally be led. And it just may be a kind word. It may be, hey, I got an extra $5 in my pocket.
Yeah.
But it's being open to be led and being vulnerable to where you can be submissive to the flesh and actually stand up when the Holy Spirit calls for you to stand up. And that takes you to make a decision. You have to make a valid decision every day to say, I am going to step back and I am going to submit the flesh that lives in me and allow the Holy Spirit to lead me. So,
Yeah, and I was gonna say, women and men, when you do give comments, be genuine about it, because that's another layer to that. Like, be genuine in it. And there has been times where I get a random message like a check-in. It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah,
you know.
amen.
And receiving those messages like, "Hey," from my line sisters, "Hey, just checking in. Haven't heard from y'all. Everybody's okay." It puts a smile on my face, or like, "Hey, I miss y'all. Hope to see y'all again." Things like that.
I just want to add, and I know we're talking about solutions, but I think we forget a lot of times that everybody's going through something, and not that we're all going through the same thing at the same time. But I may not be the type of friend that checks in, but I am the type of friend that shows up.
Hello.
So if you call me and you need me, I'm the type of friend, I'm going to always show up no matter what time it is. I'm answering. My phone is never on D&D, never. My family knows that. But everybody's not that type of person or friend, and that's okay too, right? We need them all. I got some friends that I can call. They're going to show up for me. I got some praying friends. I got some partying friends. Like, I feel like we have to be okay with accepting people for who they are, and then that thing that you love about them, embracing that, and not expecting them to be the type of friend or the type of person that you are, because it's different levels, and they're all needed. So, that village may look a little different, but it's still your village. And I think we have to just find our village.
You got a
Yes,
question?
sir. What can I help you?
so patient, y'all.
Okay, I have a question for y'all ladies. All the things y'all are saying, like, why is it so hard maybe y'all can't answer this, but why is it so hard for women to talk to their significant other about the problems they are dealing with? But it's so easy to go talk to somebody else. Like, why you can't bring that shit? I mean, why you can't bring those topics to me, where you feel like you can talk to me if we together, we married, whatever your relationship status is. But why would it be so hard to come and talk to me about what's going on in your life compared to, I know girls, y'all have girl talk, woman talk, whatever you want to call it. I'm not calling y'all girls, but y'all have woman talk. Well, damn, can I come up with a solution? Can I come up with some answers?
See, I feel like,
Hey.
yeah, I feel like sometimes as women, we feel like we're a little less understood, and the way that we portray our behavior or our mood, y'all might think it's being too high or extra or attitude-ish, or we always upset, we always this. So when it comes to trying to speak to our partner about things, it might not get portrayed the way we want it to because we're too direct, or we don't know what to say. We don't have the right things to say because it's too disrespectful. And a lot of the times we don't get that emotion out of the play when it comes to conversations. We always think about personally being hurt instead of actually listening to the message. So when we feel like sometimes we can't trust you guys when it comes to talking to you because we don't know how you're gonna take it. Sometimes we feel like that we might be criticized or we might be judged for it, or we just angry about it and we can't fix it. So one end of the spectrum, or sometimes men, they just feel like they don't want to hear it. We're nagging.
Yeah, I would say for me, it's like sometimes a woman can see their man going through their own battles, and it's like you don't want to put your problems on them, as well as like trying to, because like sometimes both people are going through something at the same time, and it's like you don't know how to address each other's problem to come up with a solution together. It's more so like I'm gonna let them, have that mindset until they're ready to come to me, and then it's like I don't want to, put my problems on you because I already know that you're going to care about them. So sometimes it's like, let me just step back and let me handle it a little bit myself. And if it gets too out of control, then I will bring it to the forefront when it's affecting our relationship. So sometimes that be the angle, for me personally.
Okay. Hold on, I got it. Look. So this is loud. Okay. So for me, sometimes you just need a bitch session. Sometimes you need to just call your friends and say, girl, can you believe this? Look at this. And she gonna let you get it all the way out. A real friend. Yeah. Y'all gotta learn the difference. It's some females who be here just want to know your dirt so they can use it against you. But you should have a circle. You gotta learn there's associates and there's friends. I have my close circle that I've been to that I can tell everything in the world, and they're gonna listen to me and they're gonna be like, Joe, you know you wrong, right? And I'm gonna say, you right. And then I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna talk to my husband. And then I can talk to him without putting so much emotions into it to where he doesn't feel like I'm attacking him. But that's a choice that I choose. I can also be that person that's gonna give my husband all of it and be like, you deal with it. But we've been married for going on 10 years, so I know if there's a certain way I approach him, he's not going to take this as let us grow. He's going to take it as me attacking him. So if I feel like I just want to go off on them, I'm going to call one of my girls, and I'm going to say, hey, let's go out and have a drink. And we're going to talk about it, and they're going to be like, they're going to keep it real with me, and they're going to tell me when I'm expecting too much of him. And they're going to also tell me, you right. Go and tell them, girl.
Yeah, go get on that nigga.
Right.
So I think it's two parts of that. One, sometimes we just want to vent. And I feel like sometimes men want to solve the problem. And sometimes it's not that I need a solution. I just need you to hear what I'm saying and kind of empathize with me. I don't need you to try to say, okay, the girl at work did this, so when you go back to work, I need you to hit that bitch in the forehead. Like, no, that's not what you want to do. Sometimes I just want you to know, like, the stuff I went through, how it made me feel. And I don't necessarily need a solution. I just need to get it out. And sometimes, every time I say a sentence and you say, okay, well, you need to do this. Okay, well, I didn't need to hear that. But okay, let me tell you what else. And then you come, and it's like, I can't even get my full thought and express how I was feeling and what I've been going through and get it all out because you throwing solutions. And it's like, this is not what I'm here for, Sarah.
And
not what I'm here for.
What everybody on this stage as women, what we're all describing is the difference between how men communicate and how women communicate. And it's different. And so, like you said, or everybody said, your man want to solve the problem, but your girl, who's a woman like you, she gonna listen, hear you out. She know you ain't looking for solutions.
Exactly.
You just wanted to get it out.
Exactly.
So that's the difference between men and women. And I think when we communicate with each other, we just got to keep that in mind. Husbands, sir, I hope you heard that. I see you missed it. It was real good.
Question.
Yeah,
Okay.
We got one more question from the audience.
I'm gonna have a comment. I think that a lot of times when you are talking about how to handle your partner, it's something that you have to model. You know, if you want someone to communicate with you when they have an issue versus keeping it and giving it to someone else, then you have to build that culture within your relationship to give a person, anybody, male or female, the space to be able to come in and say, hey, I'm comfortable with sharing this with you before I go tell my friends or my partners or my homegirl. You know, a lot of times we hold things and you seek counsel and things, so that's understandable. But I think that it's a situation where if you have to model behaviors that you want within relationships, and then because your relationship experience might be better than your partner's relationship experience. So your good experience has to shine so your partner can learn how to interact with you also. So I think I just wanted to speak on that.
That's a good one. Yeah. And I recently just had a conversation like that with my boyfriend because Also, going back to what you said about like some women have never experienced seeing their parent in a healthy relationship, or seeing their parents in a marriage, or a healthy marriage, a two-parent household. So it's like they're trying to work out this toxic behavior that they learned from a previous relationship and get through these trauma things that like come at these trigger moments. And it's like they're fighting them and they're working through them. And sometimes it sounds like a sob story like to their men, but they really are going through it like actively and like, ooh, I shouldn't say this because I'm gonna hurt his feelings. And they're like working it out in their head because they're used to that toxic behavior. So it's like they're trying to refine it, you know, and I understand that.
And I know you have another question, but I wanted to ask you a question. So, do you provide? Yes.
Yes.
So, and just in the realm of that question, you don't got to speak on your personal experience, but I'm just or your personal relationship. But I'm just saying, do you feel like a safe space is provided for your person to be able to communicate how they're feeling? Because if somebody feels like every time I say something, then you like, you throwing the situation back on them as if, you know, it's your issue. Like, you know, were you rude to her, or were you talking loud, or were you, you know, and you make it an unsafe space where they can't voice where they're coming from, even if they're right or wrong. Because sometimes when I'm telling a story of how things happen, I'm wrong in the situation. But are you providing a space where somebody can feel like, okay, even if I'm wrong, I know I'm going to be corrected in a gentle way, or in a way where I feel comfortable still communicating with you?
Want me to answer now?
Yeah.
All right. So, in my personal life, the problem is what you mentioned earlier. Like, if you come to me with a problem, but you don't expect me to come up with a solution, you just want me to listen to you, that's not what I do. Like, if you give me a problem, I'm gonna fix it. Well, I'm gonna try to fix it.
And that might be the problem.
And that's
that is the problem. I didn't come to you for a solution. I just came for you to listen. So why would you bring a problem
and
to
you know
me?
what you can, because that's your person. Your person should be able to bring their problems either way.
So I'm gonna give you a solution.
But what you may want to do, if you're finding yourself in that situation, to say, after they get through saying everything, do you want me to just listen to you, or do you want to hear my opinion on what you should do? Because if they just want you to listen, your solution may be the perfect solution, but that's not what they were looking for when they came.
And let me say,
so I'm wrong for being right?
No, listen.
We gonna limit the amount of. We gonna limit that amount because we do gotta get back to our point.
Who said you was right?
Okay, so your original question was, why are women so much more comfortable talking to their girlfriends other than their man? So they answered your question. It's because their man, is gonna offer a solution when really they just wanted to vent. That answers your question. That's why they're more comfortable talking to their girlfriends versus their man on certain things. Now, if it involves me and you, then yeah, we got to sit down and talk about it and come up with solutions. But as far as venting to your girlfriend, that is why.
And you also have to accept your wife for who she is. Like that was stated. If she's okay with, she feels like she can vent to her friends and talk to you eventually, allow her to process it. And then when she comes to you, be that person that she needs in that moment. But don't stop. You can't expect for her to switch who everybody she is to be your perfect person when you're not her perfect person.
No, I don't expect perfection.
Thank you.
Let me just ask one more question.
Thank you, Mike. No. I'm sorry. But we do gotta go to our next point before.
We charge for therapy sessions.
What's the question?
Okay. So
No.
why is it that a woman, when y'all having y'all girl talks, they can, the same thing that was said between our conversations and y'all conversations, be like, you know what? I was wrong. So why we can't be right? Why we don't ever hear that?
It's the same reason why kids will get something from their parents 1,000 times and they hear it one time from their friends and it's a whole new idea. Yeah. Sometimes you need to hear it from an outside source. And it just is.
And then specifically, personally, on a personal level, it's just the same way as male will go to their homeboys or their partner, their friends, to ask for advice on a male perspective. As a female perspective, we can kind of relate, so we can kind of get an idea and maybe possibly help each other out, and then go back to to realization. But back back to what we were gonna go towards. One more question.
Yeah, I got one question.
Sorry.
Let me get back some. I'm gonna switch it all up just to get to know y'all a little bit. Not really, but well, as being y'all grown ages, whatever that is, and what y'all experienced and went through, what would y'all consider would be maybe the ideal age for a female to start getting serious, and vice versa for a male? Like, what example, like saying you might need to go to at least 23 to get your partying and bullshitting out, depending on what you've been through. Or you might need to go to 30, or just give me a little bit of what y'all think the age and the reasons behind it.
I say anything after college age, because you still trying to have that
Figure
fun.
yourself out. And I mean, it fits right with what I was going to say. I think the closer you get to 30, you start to look at life differently. Male, female, it doesn't matter. I just think that's my general idea. The closer you get to 30, you start to figure out what's really important, what values are, what your ideal person is, what your boundaries are, what your deal breakers are. The closer you get to 30, that's what I would say in general.
I disagree.
You think that's the same for a man? I'm sorry.
Well, women
You think a
mature
30-year-old
faster than
man-
men, so
You gonna put it on the same playing field, or you gonna even
I said
it?
generally speaking, just generally. The closer he gets to 30, he's gonna be slower than her. Now he gonna be behind the curve, because women mature faster than men. That's just a given. But for him it might be like 35. But to each his own. It's a little bit different. You got a lot of things to factor into that. That's why, generally speaking, I say the closer you get to 30.
I disagree, and I'm gonna say this, not to be like the deal breaker of it all, because now that we throw a lot with age, we found it now in research, or just generally speaking with other people, that age really haven't meant a thing, because you have people who turn 30, or you have people that are in their 30s who still don't even know what life is. And I just feel like sometimes it's based off the matter in their life situations. Like, some people, they might be raised faster than other people. You could be 16, having to get it out the mud, find your way out, and by the time you turn 20 or 23, 28, you got your life, I can't say figured out, but you do know where you want your life to stand. And it's not just for women, it's also for men too. I feel like a lot of the times we go so based off of, she this age, I can't do this. Or he that age, I can't do this. But it's a lot of the times that I can learn from someone who's 19, or maybe I can learn from somebody who's 40. I talked with somebody today.
What age do you approve and think of?
But it don't matter. I'm thinking of logic. You can't tell me what I approve of, because like I said, I've learned from different perspectives, so I don't have a judgment on age. You can't force a question. You can't force an answer.
Some people at 17 that got married that early.
Hey, back in the day, you were 14, 15, getting married with kids. So let's not speak on that.
It's exceptions to every rule. It ain't no right or wrong. It all depends on the individuals.
So I do have some questions for you ladies. What resources or support systems have we made that have made a difference in our life? And draw into like maybe personal experiences, and not just broad, but more personal. What things have helped us in our community, or for yourself, to support you in your life?
So for me, is surrounding myself around diversity. I have friends that says that are as mature as 60-something years old. But I've known them for 20 plus years. They've seen my daughter. They knew me before I had my daughter. And not only that, when I have certain questions, or if I need to come to them and be like, hey, can you give me advice? I can talk to them. But I also have some friends that are as young as what's Nick, 32? 32 years old. So again, I am an advocate of saying, surround yourself around people that don't look like you. We get into the habit of wanting to only be around black people, or only want to be around hood people, whatever the case may be. You limit yourself around to what you know when you do that. Surround yourself around people who look different than you, talk different than you, have different jobs than you have, because that's how you learn, that's how you grow.
I can most definitely say the same thing because I grew up being in a lot of organizations, a lot of sports, a lot of clubs. And one thing I can say about that is that everybody didn't grow up with my same background. Sometimes we lose what we actually can learn from what we know. So being raised in the hood, all you know is what's out there. But then when you go somewhere as far as sport events or internships, when you can network with other people who've done, things that maybe your parents haven't, you can come back and get the knowledge on that. Me personally, being in events and kind of things of this nature, I might be the youngest person on this panel, but I best believe that I've gotten so much knowledge from everybody around me, and I'm sure that other people probably got the same knowledge as me, just from my perspective on things. So, just being around events and organizations itself. Yeah. What do y'all think? Any last words before we kind of close it off?
Where's security?
I think. Oh, go ahead.
I don't look like y'all can sing.
I think it's important to. I spoke on this earlier, to find your village, and surround yourself with positive people. If that's what you're gearing towards, and self-improvement, self-love, and people that are going to pour into you. People that meet you where you are. You don't have to have it all together. Somebody that can add to your bag, not take away. Somebody that can drop tools in your bag and not take away. Because what I give you, you may not give me, but that don't mean we can't learn from each other. And it ain't no age limit on that. Let me say that. It's not an age limit on knowledge. You can learn from a 2-year-old, right? Yes, and just like everybody deserves respect, same thing. We can learn from each other. And so I feel like it's most important to find your village and find that group of people, or that core group that pours into you, that meets your needs, whatever they may be.
I also believe you can be your own resource. You can pour into yourself. You can advocate for yourself. You can do so many things to grow. And like I mentioned, my grandma and my family lineage, they don't have a lot of formal education, but there are so many things I did to get myself in a better place, and I'm teaching my son to do for himself, and will teach my baby once he's old enough things to be able to do things for himself. It's, at a certain point, you can only blame your parents for so much of how your life has turned out. As an adult, you have free will, you have resources, you can make money, and you can change your circumstances. So I feel like you can be your own resource.
Mine is very simple. Venture out. Get out of what you used to. That's the best advice I got.
Alrighty, so we do want to wrap this up and lead it off to DJ Willie Will.
Man, I appreciate y'all for coming out, man. Can we get a round of applause for all the ladies that's up here today? Thank y'all for giving us some wisdom on y'all experience. For all the mothers out there, for all the sisters out there. Hopefully we'll have y'all back again to drop some more knowledge on us. But thank you. It's Zealous Vibes, and we out of here.